So I guess for Jason and Peter, I guess I wouldn't normally start a panel like this, but what is the official word for season 2?
Maybe. There's no real point in talking about it. We're optimistic. I think the network is certainly inclined to bring us back. It's really up to Jeff Zucker and the gods. So feel free to go home immediately and email Jeff Zucker and Kevin Riley. I'm not kidding. Do it several times, and that would help.
I mean, NBC kind of has a legacy of kind of sticking with shows that are, supreme quality and let them kind of grow. The Office, St. Elsewhere, Hill Street Blues, Cheers, these kind of shows. So it would seem like it would be, our chances are good.
Oh, Jeff Zucker, Dan. You have anything to say about this?
I'll call Jeff Zucker. One thing I will say is they did order 6 additional scripts from us, which is a very, very positive sign. Right. And everything that they've said and indicated has been very positive. So we're feeling good.
Peter, after directing the movie, what did you feel like there was a lot of story left to tell that wasn't in the movie that you wanted to do a series with?
Yeah, definitely. The movie, everything really stems from Buzz Bissinger's book in 1988-89, Friday Night Lights, and Buzz did a great job of using football and his experience in living in Odessa, Texas, using that as a backdrop to explore the issues that Jason and the writers are exploring so brilliantly, and these guys are acting that are really transcend football. And in the movie, in 90-minute format, it's hard to tackle issues like racism or education, family values. Those are complex issues, and we all felt, but Buzz and I felt that the TV show would service those issues. And personally, Buzz and I had no idea that we would be as truly fortunate to have found Jason, who put together and has led an incredible group of writers and this cast, and Jeff Reiner, who handles the directing chores. So I think it's all really in service of the book.
Was the network pretty receptive at the pitch meeting?
They were, yeah. The network was really supportive. It was fortunate for us in that NBC and Universal were trying to create synergy. It's a big magic word. And NBC had just licensed, gotten back in the football business and re-upped their deal with the NFL. So it felt like they were going to take big advantage of football, and now we of course are doing everything we can to distance ourselves creatively from football, because we find that football is probably the least interesting aspect of the show. Right. These characters and all the stuff that happens off the
Right. Why don't we go through the cast and maybe talk about the audition process and when you first got the script, what you thought about it? You're nervous at the audition. Taylor, you want to start with you?
Oh, my audition process. I was actually just finished The Covenant and I got back, and I guess I was kind of fortunate enough to start with some movies, and TV wasn't really on the agenda, I guess. But an opportunity to work with Pete, and the script was pretty good.
His Canadian accent was so overwhelming. There was no way Kevin Riley was like, we can't put that. I sat in a small room with him and said, just don't talk. You're very handsome, right? So we had to grind the Canadian out of him.
But anywho. Yeah, so I sent a tape, and they got the tape. He watched it, obviously, and I got down there and we did a bit of improv, like he said. And I remember walking down the hall, and he's like, just do what you just did. Right, going into the room. And he interrupted me, actually, during it was in the pilot where I have the speech or whatnot with Street and with Lila, saying, give me what percent, 5% or 1% of every paycheck or whatnot. And so, yeah, we did improv even in the final audition there, which goes to show for the show, just get you ready.
Jesse, why don't you go down the line?
The audition process was actually a lot less painful than it normally is. Just with the fact that you when you go into an audition, most of the time you're gonna do the scene, they'll give you a few notes, you're gonna walk out, they're gonna say, thank you, and that's it. With this, you really didn't know. I ended up going into the room, met with Peter, and throughout the scene, I was supposed to be looking at the casting director and thinking that she was a witch, and kind of reacting to her doing the scene, but noticing her looking at me crazy. So it was fun to it was completely different. So it was, yeah, and I had auditioned with Linda, with Peter, and then tested twice, and then that was it. So it was fun, though.
For me, I was in New York doing theater, and it was my first pilot season, and I read the script, and I had seen the movie 3 times. Once with with a girl I was dating at the time, which she didn't get it. So I called my old high school buddies, we went back and watched it, and we had to go see it again. So I was in love with Friday Night Lights, the movie, and I read the script, and the role was just amazing. Pete had actually written into the script that they were operating through the front of Jason's throat, pulling out bone chips, and it was just blood and just it was this really dark and gory thing. But I was truly excited, so I went on tape. I guess Pete watches them all because Gaius was the same. He's not here right now, but Gaius came out of New York too, and we were both on tape. We didn't actually get in a room with Pete until we were testing. And I get there, and he brings me in. We finish kind of ad-libbing some stuff, and then he calls Minka in the room, and he just told us to get off the page and improv the superpower scene, you know, where Lila's giving Jason a hard time. Is it true you have superhuman powers, et cetera, et cetera? And I don't know, I've never asked Pete this, but I always tell everybody because it sounds like a great story that I think Minka booked me the gig because we had a great time in the room. We got off the page and we had a fantastic time, and so that was my audition process.
My audition process, well, by the time I got to Pete, I did my first scene. He goes, yeah, that's good, that's good. Do it like you're on heroin. What? So I'm like, okay. And he's like, no, that's coke. It's true. So I got a little heroin 101. Guess I did a good job because after that he asked me to do it like I hated the guy, I wanted to kill him. And that was fun. I think I actually spit on the guy on accident. And then he said, okay, do it like you're just a nice, normal girl, just a girl. And I said, okay. And I think then I realized that was when, because I was auditioning for Tyra first, and I think he was like, not so much Tyra. And then I guess when he said just to do it as the regular girl, that's probably when he decided that I was Lila. And then I tested, and then he and I got to have a little fun, and and the rest is history, I guess. And then all of a sudden they thought I could act.
Oh. Okay. Hello. They turned it off now. Is it on? You're good. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, okay. They turn my microphones off a lot. But that's another story. My audition process was actually on Friday the 13th. And on the breakdowns, it said you must be 18 and over, you must be emancipated, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, I'll go make my agent happy. I'll go say a few lines and then go out with my boyfriend afterwards. Didn't really matter much. And I went in there and I kind of did it. I was like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh my God, okay, well, can you do it again? And I was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then I read for Linda Lowy, and she was like, you're great. Can you come back? And I was like, I'm not 18. And she's like, it doesn't matter, just come back. So I came back, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I hadn't even seen the movie, actually, I'm sorry. I hadn't read the book. And I met Pete, and I walk in there and ready to see my blah, blah, blahs. And he's like, so what pisses you off these days? And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, what just gets under your skin and pisses you off? And I'm like, gas prices? Because everybody can agree gas prices are through the roof. They were back then, they are now. Nobody likes them. And then somehow... I couldn't even drive then, yeah, really. And I tested for NBC and Universal and ended up getting the gig somehow. So that's my audition process.
Well, I started in New York.